Hi everyone, welcome to this first video of this YouTube channel. I am Dylan, a doctor, general practitioner to be specific, and a consultant. So my mission is to help therapists build ethical and sustainable practices so they can grow with confidence, freedom, and without burning out. And I highlighted burning out because it's really something that means a lot to me. The word niche is a word that makes a lot of therapists profoundly uncomfortable, but not only a therapist, because in general, many people are not feeling well when we talk about this word. And if sometimes you feel that you don't want to exclude anyone, that you just want to help anyone, it's quite normal because as a healthcare professional, we really want to help everyone reaching us. But in the end, in the private practice, it can feel confusing and exhausting because when you try to speak to everyone, in the end, no one really hears you. And it's not because you lack confidence or that you lack skills, but it's just because people can only connect with what they can recognize. So in today's video, I will try to show you how to find a niche without feeling salesy or manipulative. And by the end of this video, you will have a clear process to discover your natural niche and build visibility naturally without pressure or pitching. So now let's continue with this Google Doc and talk about the invisible problem, a lack of clarity. So this invisible problem is the fact that most therapist profiles online look and sound exactly the same. For example, I help adults with stress, anxiety, depression, or I offer this kind of therapy, etc. Well, I said those things briefly, but I think you see what I mean. And it might sound right and professional, but when you are the person reading the description or watching that website, the person doesn't feel any recognition in those words. And for example, it's like looking at the foggy window. You can tell there's someone behind it, but you can really see the person in the end. And that's why so many therapists struggle to attract the right client. It's not a lack of skill, but a lack of clarity. And clarity is what creates recognition. And in the end, people don't choose the best therapists, though they can verify your Google business profile to see your reviews, to see if people are happy with your service, but they choose the therapist they understand the most. So now let's talk about the ethical reframe why clarity is responsibility. So niching feels wrong for many therapists because everything in our training taught us to stay open to people, to avoid labels, and respect every story. Therefore, when someone tells you to choose a niche, obviously your nervous system reacts as if we are betraying our values. But the truth about it is the fact that marketing isn't therapy, it's just a translation. So you are not excluding people, you are just simply describing in human language, in simple words, the situations where your work has the best and the most impact. And in fact, I believe that being unclear is unethical because if you can't communicate who you help best, you are making it harder for the client who desperately needs a specific expertise. So now let's talk about the real meaning of a niche. So a niche isn't just a box or a diagnosis, but it's the association of three simple things: who you feel most called to help, what transformation they are looking for, and the language they use to describe the struggle. So when you have these three things, your words start to resonate instead of just inform. So you don't need to convince people anymore because your audience already feels seen. And that's when your marketing becomes an act of empathy. So just think of it this way. Niching isn't mean to narrow, but to focus your light so it reaches further. If we look at human psychology, it tells us something really important. And the human brain filters information through recognition. So we trust what feels relevant to us. and we ignore what feels generic. So when you have a client who is in pain, he isn't searching for therapy. He's looking to reduce his pain. And it's really something important to remember. So that's why specificity builds safety, because when someone reads your profile and thinks, oh, that's exactly how I feel, their nervous system relaxes and they already started to trust you before even meeting you. So specificity doesn't make you commercial, but it makes you humanly understandable. So to illustrate what I said earlier, let's look at these illustrations. So we have therapist A and therapist B. Therapist A writes, I help adults with stress, anxiety, and depression. Therapist B writes, I help high achieving professionals who can switch off to reduce their anxiety and reconnect with themselves. So both versions are describing anxiety, but only one paints a clear and vivid picture. Therapist A sounds safe, but quite invisible and generic. Therapist B sounds instantly recognizable. So let's look at another example. Therapist C, couples counseling for communication issues. Therapist D, helping long-term couples rebuild connection after years of silence. Here is a last example. Therapist E, counseling for stress and emotions. Therapist F, helping young professionals recover balance after their first burnout. So you can see the difference. It's really what a niche is. It's not a box that limits you, but it's a lens that makes you visible. It's a lens that gets the right people to recognize themselves in your words. And when they will read your profiles, your websites, or whatever, they will tell themselves, yes, that's me. It's talking about me. And that's the right message you want. So it gets you from general to recognizable, from invisible to visible, while staying completely authentic. So why generic messaging feels burnout? So when you don't have a specific niche, you end up attracting all kinds of clients who have different needs and expectations from you. So you are constantly switching gears emotionally, and that's really exhausting. So every session asks you to adapt and to stretch into different roles that don't always fit you because your energy is simply scattered. So the right niche doesn't just fill your schedule, but it protects also your energy. So you feel more comfortable in sessions, more confident when you speak, and far less drained at the end of the day. So clarity regulates your nervous system, but it also brings rhythm, safety, and focus back into your work. So when you have a calm system, then your impact will automatically grow. So now let's look at this reflective exercise that I call the shortcut to mastery. So take a deep breath or few deep breaths, grab a notebook or open your notes app. Think back to your past sessions or experiences. Who were you helping when you felt fully alive? Which stories or transformations reminded you why you chose this job? Now think about the opposite. Moments that felt heavy, tiring, or frustrating. When you left the room feeling disconnected. Now you can write down 3 energizing situations and 3 draining ones. Don't overthink it, just write what comes first in your mind. Now you can look for patterns. Do you notice certain clients, issues, or teams that keep showing up on the energizing side? So now you have your direction. And those are the people and topics where your natural joy meets your strongest skills. When you focus there, everything gets easier and you grow faster, you feel more confident, and people start recognizing you as an expert in that space. Your niche is therefore not a restriction, but a shortcut to your mastery. So when you align your work with what gives you energy, you serve better and you last longer. And that's really something important. So to summarize everything I said about niche and being aligned with yourself, let's talk about my framework I made to illustrate those concepts. So if I take the framework, so here it is. So it's what I call the niche triangle framework. So you have joy, It's what energizes you. You have competence. It's what you are best at. And you have your audience needs. It's what people seek. So you may have joy without demand. It would lead to financial stress. You may have demand, but without joy, it would lead to burnout. But when you associate those three, you have your niche where your joy, competence, and needs meet. So it's what I call the ethical sweet spot. So the ethical sweet spot is when you have joy times competence times audience needs. And when you reach that spot, your practice will grow in a sustainable way and you will be aligned with yourself and your values. So to finish this video, let's look at a little tip you can use to have insights about your potential niche. So you can open Google and type in therapist for your potential niche, or it may be burnout, for example. So let's do that. So therapist for burnout. But before searching the results, I would advise you to write this in your local language. Here I am writing this in English to show you, but I am living in a French city, so I should write it in French. So you can see here different websites about therapists working in the same niche, or you can also see groups, forum. Yeah, you can see if there is a demand, if there are already people working in the same niche, or you can also find maybe a topic where no one works about it, and it would be a great opportunity to work in that niche. So yeah, it's really interesting to do that. And yeah, there are also websites like Reddit. Even on Reddit, there is a group called Therapist. So it would be interesting to go there and to find different topics inside. So yeah, I would advise you to do that because it's free and simple. So it's the end of this video. So if you found this video helpful, you can like it, and you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel to stay tuned to new videos I will make in the future. So yeah, let's close this and see you soon.